Hello and welcome to our fourth Apple Teacher session and the last one of the year. Woo! You'll be pleased to hear that today's Pages session won't include quite as much detail as iMovie last week, as we crammed a lot in that hour. I wanted to start with a big thank you for all of you who have been along for the Apple Teacher ride so far. It really is lovely to have you all here. While we are showing you some tricks and tips to get to know your iPad, you are, in turn, helping us establish our regional training centre and hopefully seeing how fantastic these devices are for use in classrooms from our youngest to our oldest learners. I hope you're progressing well with your other badges. Please let us know in the RTC area on Teams if there's anything we can do to help. It is a busy time of year, so remember you can come back to the pre-recorded sessions online whenever you like and complete the badge quizzes when life is a little less hectic, if that ever happens in teaching. Welcome to our Pages for iPad session. I am still Ruth Burnett, primary teacher at Bishopton Primary School, Apple Distinguished Educator, and one of the facilitators at our Apple Regional Training Centre in Renfrewshire. And this is Laura, Deputy Head Teacher at Todd's Home Primary, who will be joining me on some of the live sessions. This is our main goal at the RTC, and I think everyone here today has been at a previous session, so I won't go into too much detail about what Apple Teacher is, as I'm assuming you'll know that after 3 weeks of input. As I always say, take the time to play around with the apps on your device at your own pace. You're shown a lot of things in these sessions, and having a bit of time to just press buttons, try things out, make mistakes and try again is what is needed. This is an overview of the different areas we're going to be looking at today, and this is how the module in the Learning Centre is broken down too. The next few apps we will look at during Apple Teacher, Pages, Numbers and GarageBand, are often the apps that people are least familiar with, as there are other alternatives out there. But Pages is a powerful and intuitive word processing app that can help you and your learners create documents that look good and serve a variety of purposes, including reports, newsletters, posters, and even interactive books. So let's have a little look at Pages today. As we have learned with Keynote and iMovie, the Apple apps have lots of styles and templates built in to make creating something special much easier. In Pages, we have templates, each with their own coordinated sets of fonts, colours, and layouts. These can be customised to work for you. Let's have a look at how we pick a template for a new document. So here I am inside the Pages app. I'm going to tap the plus button for a new document, and you'll see along the top there's all the different templates I can choose from. I'm going to go for newsletters, and then I'm going to pick this one on the right hand side that says school newsletter. Now you'll see, as before with Keynote and with iMovie, we have little placeholder images and text, and we can replace them with our own information now. So this picture in the center here, I'm just going to tap the little plus button and choose a photo from my media library. And I'm going to go for one of these beautiful pieces of art that my Primary 5 class created last week. Beautiful. And then I can edit that image as we've done before. By double tapping on it, I can zoom in. I can drag the picture around so it fills the frame in different ways, just like we did with Keynote. And the same goes for our text, our placeholder text too. I can just tap on the text box and I can change it to whatever I like. So because you have that template there already, it already has the structure for you and it looks really good. So you don't have to spend a lot of time working out the structure and the layout of your documents that you're creating. Now, when I'm happy with the changes that I've made, I can just click that back arrow in the top left-hand corner, and that closes my document. So using those templates is a really useful tool. You can use them for creating newsletters in class or turning it into a portfolio where your learners collect their favourite pieces of work in one place to share with their families. Now, while we can use the defined styles within a template, sometimes we want to format our text differently for a variety of reasons. So let's go back into that newsletter for now. All the templates include something known as preset paragraph styles, and each of the paragraph styles has a specified font and size for things like titles, headings, and lists. By applying these to your document, it keeps the formatting consistent. So let's see what that means and how it looks in Pages. So we're going to format a particular paragraph. We're just going to go for this one down here. Double tap on it so it's all selected. I can click Format from that pop-up menu there, or click the little paintbrush in the top right-hand corner. And from the text option within the formatting menu, you'll see it says paragraph style. Now, when I tap on that, pop that out of the way, here we can see the defined paragraph styles for this particular template. I can make changes to the formatting that fit in with the template, and that will be consistent. So it's not going to stand out, it's all going to fit in with the style of this particular template. So let's go for subheading instead, so that it matches the one above. Or perhaps I want to change it, and actually at this point I want to add in a list with some bullets. Again, I go up to formatting. Oh, I'm just going to select my text. Again, I go up to formatting. And I go down to where it says bullets and lists. Tap that, and that is where it gives you the different types of bullets, bullet points and lists that you can create. And now if I click the little I button, it gives me some choices for customization of those bullets. So where they sit, their size, their color, etc. But I think I'm just going to leave it with that defined style for now. But sometimes we might want to make further changes with our formatting, and we do that within our formatting area of Pages. So again, if I click on my format button, the little paintbrush, you'll see that there are 3 different sections to my formatting menu. And if I go to arrange, you'll see that's where I can mess around things with the alignment, with the line spacing, the indentations, all these sort of bits and bobs are here. So there's a lot of different things that you can edit, alter, and customize, or you can stick with the preset styles that are already built into your templates. However, what you might find are that you're making the same changes over and over again. So these are your go-to things, quick changes that you want to be able to make. So what you can do is when your keyboard pops up, you'll see on the right-hand side at the top of my keyboard, I can click the little A's there to change the size, and I can also select bold, italic, and underline, and I can change the alignment of my text as well, using that quick change shortcut bar above my keyboard. Being able to design documents, flyers, and posters that have a consistent format and look is a great skill to show our learners. Ensures the content tells a story without the distractions of messy formatting. We've all seen when they all get started on a word processing document and they want to change every single word to have a different font and a different color. But by showing them these presets, it really allows them to focus on the content within their document. Including photos in your documents and adjusting how they are placed with and around the text adds another dimension to the document. They will enhance the content and bring it to life. Let's add some now. Now we've already dropped in that really nice Northern Lights picture into one of the placeholder parts of this template. What we want to do now is add in a picture into a part of the document where there is no placeholder. We're wanting to put one in a completely new location. But by now you're going to start to recognize the buttons, and what they do is they're consistent through the Apple core apps. So we are wanting to add a photo. So if we go up to the top, you'll see the little button with the little photo on it. We're going to add photo or video, and then it takes us into our media library. And I'm going to go down, and I think I'm going to click this nice picture here. Now you'll see it's got our familiar blue handles around it now. So I can resize my photo. So I can drag them. And then I can use my 2 fingers to rotate it. I'm just going to pop it back to 0 for now, so it's nice and aligned. And we can drag it around till we find the location that we want to have it within our document. So this is the location that I want to have it in my document, but obviously that's not great. It's sitting right on top of the text and I can't read what's underneath. So I need to change some of the settings for this picture. So I go up to formatting, I go to arrange, and you'll see right down at the bottom, there's something called text wrap. And text wrap does exactly that. If you have it on, the text within your document will wrap around the picture. And when I click on that just now, you can see it's set as none, and I want to change it to around. And what you'll see now is when I place that picture in, the text goes around the edges of my picture. And if I move my picture, the text will adapt to where it has been moved to. And again, it's just a really nice way of embedding your pictures within your document and it being part of the story that you're telling within your document there. But perhaps you want to format how the photo looks within your document. So again, I can tap on my photo, up to my formatting menu, and you'll see there's a section within style. And these are just different ways of presenting the photo. So perhaps it has a little frame around it, or a shadow, or there's a nice one with a reflection as well. And you can adjust these in the strength of the effect using the choices below. I quite like that one though. I'm going to go for that. And I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. There we go. And another thing you can do when adding in images into a document is to think about accessibility descriptions. So when I tap on my picture and I go up to my formatting menu, and this time looking at the image tab, and the button that says description, this is where I could put in my accessibility description. And this is used by assistive technologies such as VoiceOver for people with limited vision to describe what the pictures within your document are showing. Obviously check it for spelling first. And that means when this document is being read using assistive technology tools such as VoiceOver, it will read out that description of the image. So nobody is missing out on the things that have been inserted within your document. Now, using the newsletter template with additional photos allows your learners to share information they have found out about a particular topic and supplement this with images from their media library, or they can also use the shape library. The shape library in Pages works in just the same way as in Keynote. There are hundreds of shapes to choose from, or existing shapes can be combined to make new ones. So you'll see what I've done here is I have deleted one of my placeholder images from this template to give me a little bit of space to add some shape images instead. So you should be familiar now with the button that I would use to look at our shapes library. So I'm going to tap on that. And you'll see along the top, it has all the different categories of shapes, or I can search if there's something in particular that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go for a star. Here's my star. Pop it over here. And you'll see those yellow alignment guides are popping up to make sure that everything is nice and in line within my document. Now I want to customize my star. So I go to the formatting button and you'll see I can fill it with a different color. I'm going to go for a nice golden, or I could use the gradient tool or the whole range of colors there. Lots of choices. And I can also add in the border, this shadow and the reflection, just as we did with the last image that we were playing around with. And I'm happy with that, just a nice yellow, simple star. But I actually want to add another shape as well. And sometimes we want to be able to add shapes on top of shapes or have one sitting in front of the other. And this is where our layering tool comes into play. So now I'm going to add a tree. And here's my tree. Change the color for this. But I don't really want the star to be sitting behind it. I want it to be sitting on top of it. So we need to have a play around with the ordering of the layers for these shapes. So I'm going to tap on my star. Click on formatting. This time the arrange button, and you'll see along the top it says move to back front. And I can drag that to the right hand side. And you'll see it is now the item that is on the top layer. Similarly, what I could have done is I could have selected the tree and moved that to the back layer. The more items that you have, the more layers that you'll have, and the more you'll have to navigate between them all to get your stacking right with your layers. And perhaps we want to make our own shape and add it to our library. As it is now officially December, I want to create a Christmas tree shape that has a star on top, rather than having to continually add two different shapes over and over again. So I'm going to do a couple of things first. I'm going to make a little copy of this star. And I'm going to pop some little ones down here. There we go. I'm going to move that big star off, and why I'm doing this will become clear in just a second. Now I'm going to use the selecting trick that I showed you in Keynotes, where I tap on one and then select objects, and then I'm going to tap all my little stars within and click done. Now I want to group these into one new shape, and I'm going to combine them. So I go to my formatting button. I'm just going to hide the thumbnails and move the page over a little bit so that you can hopefully see me doing this while I also have the formatting thing open. There we go. There we are. So I'm wanting to combine these shapes. So there's actually different ways you can combine them. What I want is I want my tree shape with those stars cut out of it. So I go into Arrange and I go down to the bottom, and you'll see that there's one that says Combine Shapes. Now, if I click the first one, it just groups them all together and the stars are gone. That's not actually very good for me. So I'm going to undo that. So what I'm going to do is go into the formatting menu again, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to click the Combine Shapes, the third one along. And what that does is it's kind of like a little cookie cutter. It is cut out those little star shapes from my tree shape. And that is the shape now as one shape. And I want to keep it like that. Now, what I could do if I wanted was I could add this one on top. And then again, select objects, select them both. Go to my formatting and then click the first Combine Shapes button. And what that has done, you'll see it's now all yellow. And why? The reason it's all yellow is that's because it is now one complete shape altogether. And so now I have created my new shape and I want to add it to my shapes. So I'm going to tap that and you'll see there is an option for Add to Shapes. When I click that, it goes into my own little section within my Shapes library, and I can tap on it and I get another copy. Now that I have saved that shape, it will be there in my library anytime I need it. And what I can do is if I go in, hold my finger down on it and click rename, I can give it a useful name. So if I'm wanting to search for something, it's a lot easier. Let's just delete that one for now. So what we've done there is we've created our own shape by combining various shapes and using the different options for combining shapes to have the cookie cutter one, and then adding on the star on top to make a brand new shape that is now stored inside our My Shapes area of the library. I've now said the word shapes quite a lot in the last few minutes. Now, as with Keynote, we can use our fabulous markup tools to personalize our documents by adding sketches, doodles, and handwriting text. And we do that in a very similar way as to when we did it in Keynote. So I'm just going to zoom in on this lovely Christmas tree. Now I have my Apple Pencil, but as I've said before, fingers, the cheaper styluses all work really nicely. If you're going to add a drawing just using fingers, you'd go up to the little photo button and down to where it says drawing. And you'll see all of the markup tools come along the bottom. And I'm just going to go for this guy. And I want to add some nice little colored baubles. Just do a couple more. It's quite therapeutic. Not sure yellow is the best color for this tree, but still. Actually, while we're at it, let's just edit that. So I'll tap my tree. I'm going to make it green. There we go. Okay. We can switch tools, go into the pencil, and we can adjust the thickness by holding down, and the opacity as well using that slider. We can also use the paint tube tool here to draw our own shapes that will be automatically filled with the color we've selected. So let's go for red, and we'll draw a little pot for our Christmas tree to sit. And we can use our pinching to zoom in to get some really nice finer details as well. Now I'm already quite zoomed in. Perhaps we want to add in some wires for our lights. You get the picture. A useful way to use Pages and the tools that we've learned so far would be to create a book template where the children type up a story that they've been working on and then use either their own illustrations from a drawing app or illustrations that they draw straight into Pages to go along with their story. I've also seen it used where vocabulary words have been put into a Pages document, and then pupils are asked to add drawings to show their understanding of those words. They can then airdrop it back to the teacher for feedback. Audio can be recorded and added directly onto any page using the iPad's built-in microphone. This can be used to narrate writing for our younger learners or include extra information and explanations linked to the content of your document. Music and sound effects can also be added to create a media-rich document. So let's see how we go about this. Just going to click done because we're done with our drawing. So to add a voice recording to our document, we're going to go up to our Add Media button, which is the one that looks like a little photo, and down to Record Audio. And you'll see we've got that little microphone at the bottom, and I'm going to tap that to start and then to stop recording. Welcome to our class newsletter for Term 2. We hope you enjoy learning about everything we've been doing in class. Now, once I've done my recording, I can preview it before I embed it into my document. Welcome to our class newsletter for Term 2. We hope you enjoy learning about everything we've been doing in class. I've got a little bit of silence at the end that I want to trim out, so I'm going to do a bit of editing. I click the edit button, and I'm going to drag those little handles to define the area that I want to keep for my recording. Now, if I click the scissors cut outside the handles, and if I click the bin, it's going to delete everything inside the handles. So let's just click the delete bin button just now, and you'll see that I've now got nothing. So I'm going to undo that. And this time, I'm going to edit again, put my handles back to here, back to here. And this time I'm going to click the scissors button because I actually want to cut the stuff outside of the handles. And now if I go back, the speaking will start immediately and I've trimmed off that silence at the end. And now I'm happy with it. So I click the insert button. And I have a little playback icon and I can drag that and put that wherever I like. So perhaps I want it up near the top, right beside where it says P5 newsletter. So audio can be added in different ways to enhance your Pages documents, perhaps narrating the text of an original story, or it can be used to reinforce a set of instructions within the document. Now, you can also use Pages as a blank canvas to create your own page layout and build exactly what you're after. This can be then shared with your learners to complete. In P6 recently, I created a note-taking sheet with sections and instructions to guide the research process and boxes for images to be added to. It helped by giving the kids the structure they needed when finding and recording information. Pages can also be used in this way to create posters or flyers to display information. Let's see how we go about making something like that. So I'm going to go back in here now, and this time I'm going to click my plus, and I'm going to go for blank. I'm going to click the little arrow up beside my document name. And you'll see there's a bit that says document options. So I click that and document setup, and that's where I can choose whether it's going to be a portrait document or a landscape document. And what I want to do is I want to turn off the thing that says document body. And what that will do is will give me a free form space that's completely blank. There's no text boxes or anything within it at all. I can just create my own thing from scratch. And I'm going to go landscape. Now I essentially have a white sheet of paper in which I can create whatever I would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a poster for a Christmas fair, for example. I now have my nice plain sheet of paper, but I want to format the background to give it a nice coloured background. So I click my formatting button. You'll see I've got my page thumbnail there. I'm going to click background, and I'm going to go for a nice Christmassy red for the background. I can then add a text box. So I go up to my Shapes browser, go right back to the start, and I'm going to click text. And I tap in there for my title. Now, obviously, I need to edit that, so I go over to formatting, to text. I can choose a predefined paragraph style if I want to, or I can create my own by choosing different fonts and then adjusting the size and things as well. Pop that up there. I can move it around. I can rotate it if I want to. And I can add a little bit of style to that text box as well. Maybe giving it a bit of a shadow, just to make it look a little bit nicer. We can also then add in our shapes. And let's add in that shape that we created earlier. You can add in as much as you like because it's essentially a blank piece of paper, and you can add in photos. So let's add in a photo from our camera roll. Let's pop in this one. And I can add in more text boxes with more information. I can move them around. I can change up the fonts. I can change up the style and the orientation. So we have started to create a simple but attractive poster by using some of the elements we have been learning about in Pages. Now, another great thing you can do in Pages is to create interactive books that feature various media and use one of the book templates found in Pages. This can be shared with others and added to their Apple Books library. So let's go back to the start. We'll click plus, and this time we're going to go down to where it says books. Now, for the books, they tend to recommend for mostly text books, a portrait option, and for landscape books, for books that are image heavy. So let's go for a landscape book for now. So there's a whole bunch of lovely templates already there for me. I'm going to go for this one. It's got a cat on it. Why would I not? And you'll see we've got 4 pages already here. And it has some placeholder text and placeholder images. Now I'm going to come back and add in my story and add in some personalized images later on, but for a new page, I'm just going to pick a blank page. In this blank page, I want to add what's known as an image gallery. So I'm going to go up to my adding media button and pick image gallery from here. Now what you get is you get this nice placeholder. I'm going to resize it and then use my alignment lines to make sure it's nice and in the center of my page. So I'm going to click the plus button to add images. And you'll see I've said images there because it's not just one I'm going to add this time. It's going to be a whole gallery so that people can scroll through the different images within the book. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose all of those beautiful Northern Lights pictures that the class created. Let's just go for 7 just now and add. And you'll see that my first picture has a little arrow for scrolling through. And it just goes through each of the photos in turn. And I can add a caption. And it's a really useful way of storing your photos in one place without taking up a whole ton of space, especially if you've got a gigantic class. Now, if I had my image gallery in a page of text and I wanted to have it so that the text wraps around it like we were doing previously, I need to tell the text to do that. So I select my image gallery, go to format, text wrap, and then click the one that works best for you. So I'm just going to go around for now. Now, obviously, I don't have any text in this page, but if I did, it would flow around the image gallery depending on where about I move it. We can add all sorts of things to our interactive books using Pages. We can add voice recordings and videos and pictures and hand drawings as well. It's a really nice way to create a multimedia interactive document that you can share with others. So let's see how we now go about as exporting it. If we export it as a PDF, we're not going to have any of those fabulous things. So we need to export it as a particular type of document. So to export it, we're going to click the little button next to the name, and we're going to go for export. And we want to export it as an EPUB. So we're going to click EPUB. And there you have an opportunity to put in things like the title, the author, add in a specific book cover if you want it as well. And it really, again, allows that element of personalization and choice for your learners. So books could be created by your learners to display what they have found in a particular topic. They can add in video, audio, and photos to create an interactive multimedia book. For example, a travel guidebook when learning about a different country. Books within Pages could also be used as digital portfolios, recording the children's learning and sharing as a book when done. And there's lots of areas for development with this. Now, the next bit I am going to talk about is collaboration on documents. Now, sadly, this requires the devices to be set up so iCloud collaboration is possible, and ours, sadly, are not. However, this may still come up in your quiz, so I'll just mention it briefly. Documents that are created in Pages can be shared for collaboration with others that you invite. This means everyone is working on the one version of the document. However, we can still share documents with AirDrop, but they become copies of the original, and changes will not show up on the original document. To enable collaboration, what you would do is you click the share button, and then you would click collaborate, and there would be options for being able to how you would collaborate, whether it's for access or edit, and then you would send that invitation to the people that you're wanting to collaborate with. When collaborating, you can leave comments for the creator and they can respond. As with any document that you set up for collaboration, you can manage that shared document. So you can add more people to collaborate with. You can remove people as well. Now, finally, what we're going to look at is smart annotation. As you mark up and add feedback to Pages documents that have been shared with you, the annotations are connected to the objects they're commenting on so that the author can review, track, and make changes as they see fit. So let's have a look at how we would use smart annotation. So we're going to open an existing document. Let's go back to our school newsletter. And we're going to click the three little dots over here. And we're going to turn on smart annotation. And you'll see we've got markup tools again. Hooray! And these annotation tools allow you to either write on with pen or to highlight. And again, you can adjust the width and the opacity of your tools. So perhaps there's certain changes that you want to highlight that have been made in a document created by your learners. It could be spelling, it could be formatting, it could be whatever you like. So let's say I think they could pick a better picture for their main picture. Let's go for a nice pink colour. Maybe there's a wee spelling mistake, so I'll get my highlighter out and just highlight the bits that I want them to have a little look over. And then when I'm done, I click done when finished. And I can then send it back to them to make those changes. When it comes back to them, so let's say I've received this document and I had to make these changes. Well, once I've made my changes, I can just delete the marks that have been put on. Or if I want to remove all of the smart annotations, then I just go up and click my three little dots again. Smart annotation, the three little dots inside here, and erase all smart annotations. So what I want to show you now is a nifty little tool with smart annotations. What I've done here is I've just entered the first sentence for my newsletter, and you'll see the Bishopton Primary is missing some capital letters. So it's been highlighted with smart annotations. So instead of dealing with that immediately, I'm actually going to add in a couple of words first. Primary 5 newsletter. And what you'll see is even when I added in the new text, the smart annotations moved with the text as well. So they are linked to it. Smart annotations are a really useful way to incorporate feedback and assessment into your documents. Perhaps your learners have created a story within Pages and shared it with you via AirDrop. You can quickly highlight and annotate any necessary changes and share it back with them. They can review and make these changes really easily. Smart annotation can also be used for reading comprehension. Text can be shared with learners who then use the tools to identify different elements of the text, maybe even in different colours. Now that is everything we wanted to show you for today in Pages. It's a great wee app with lots of potential uses in the classroom. This is our last Apple Teacher session for the year. Yay! And I wanted to say how much I really appreciate you all for joining me on this journey this year. I know it has been a lot of time and a lot of information, so thank you. I hope you've been enjoying the RTC 12 Days of iPad Christmas series I've been posting about in the space on Teams and on our Twitter channel. Please do join in, as we would love to see what you've come up with, especially using all these wonderful new skills you have with using iPads. I look forward to seeing you in the new year for our Numbers and GarageBand sessions to finish off Apple Teacher. We have some in-person RTC sessions in the calendar now, linked to storytelling with iPad in advance of World Book Day. Before we leave, I have one more favour to ask of you. There's a QR code on your screen to the feedback survey. If you could complete it, we'd be very grateful, as your feedback allows us to tailor the RTC courses to the needs of all you lovely Brownshire educators. In particular, if there's anything that you think you would like to build more on, having looked at some of the areas of iPad already, or perhaps an aspect of the curriculum that you'd like us to come up with some ideas for using your iPads with. Thank you for your time today, and please share those badges when you get them. Have a great Christmas break. You all deserve it, and much, much more. Bye-bye.